Welcome to the Creator Incorporated podcast. Dennis, welcome to the freaking show. If you want to take a second and just introduce me to the podcast, maybe that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, dog. Come on.
Right.
But go ahead.
Here we have the second baddest boy in advertising. What was your name again? I forgot now. Jack Westerkamp, host of the Creator Incorporated podcast.
That's pretty much it.
I don't really know much else about you.
Yeah,
to be completely honest with you.
I know this is gonna be great. So Dennis and I are, my boy is Dennis's boy.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I don't even know how to pronounce your last name.
Yeah, it's Petlakh.
Petlakh.
Like as if you're locking your pet. Yeah.
Bingo. Nailed it. So I'm excited for this because you are a creator yourself. And you kind of do a good job. You kind of keep it under the radar.
Yeah.
Like we've hung out plenty of times and it's never really come up that much as like the creator side. Obviously, I know that you do a lot of creative stuff. But you kind of have a little bit of this alter universe situation going. Would you agree with that? And is that like on purpose, or are you surprised that I have that take?
No, I'm not surprised you have that take at all. It's absolutely intentional. And a lot of that comes from the fact that I have a real job outside of the creator stuff. And then once I started taking my media work a lot more seriously, I was like, shit, man, like I can't let this get too big while I'm also like, I don't want anyone to think at work that like it's impeding on my job.
For sure. And you have a little bit like unique in comparison to like everyone that we've interviewed that's a creator. Most of the time the interviews are with someone that's like, I get in front of a camera, I'm very like opinionated. That's my content online. I'm like crushing it on TikTok.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, are much more like what you're creating involves so much craft and like precision and visual. And it's not you in front of the camera, it's you behind the camera.
Yeah.
And your creation comes from like the production and all that. So I kind of like, tell me about what your specialties are when it comes to like videography and content, and how would you describe the stuff that you put out?
Yeah, I mean, I think the majority of the work that I do ends up being marketing content. Like I'm a service provider for clients at the end of the day, and I provide a lot of video content that gets used for social media marketing. It gets used for email marketing, whether it's also going to end up on like the client's website, stuff like that. That's where a lot of my videography goes. And that ranges anywhere from like, I do a lot of automotive work. I absolutely love cars.
Okay.
And combining that with the cameras is like a really fun thing for me. But I do a lot of the car work, and then also drone stuff. Like you've seen me wearing the goggles, the FPV drone. Where it's like you're playing like VR in real life with the drone kind of thing. So I try to kind of, that's like a niche subset of like drone videography that's not that like accessible for a lot of people, which is like helpful because
I'm an
FPV drone guy, and it's like, oh, there aren't that many of those out there compared to like someone who buys like a drone at Best Buy, because anyone can do that now. Yeah.
And it's like a broader point that is a key thing for a lot of people that have success in creating content, is like tapping into a subculture.
Yeah.
And being like someone who in a arena, in like a massive arena, you could say drone footage is its own massive thing. But then you dig deeper into like FPV drone footage, and then you're creating like some of the best content in FPV drone footage. It doesn't have 5 bajillion people that know what's going on, but for that specific community, you can carve out a pretty big like community of your own, which I've seen. You have 30,000 YouTube subscribers across a couple pages.
Yeah, combined, I guess a little bit over. But I'll tell you an interesting story about that, because the Nisflix YouTube channel,
That's your YouTube channel.
Which is my YouTube channel for like specifically where I talk about drones and cameras. It started with a heavy emphasis on the FPV niche. And then it kind of like got a little bit broader as I started to want to create more videos that talk about like my cameras outside of drones, and also just kind of like my life as a videographer and as a photographer, because I find a lot of like useful educational content on YouTube from other people who are also like doing photography and videography. And I'm thinking, well, you know, they're helping me, but like I have experiences that I could help other people with. So that channel has slowly gone in the direction of like being kind of an informative and educational channel, and also like a behind the scenes look at like me shooting stuff.
Yeah.
But so that channel has 27,602 subscribers.
Did you look at it right before?
I look at it like 5 times a day, to be honest with you. And the interesting thing about that is like just about 20,000 of those subs came from one viral clip of me flying my FPV drone. It's like a half and half video where one side of it's a vertical like Instagram reel and a YouTube short. And I got 12.7 million views. And like one shot is me like on the controller, so it shows you like the inputs I'm making, and the other one is like the drone doing flips and flying like really kind of crazy and fast. And it's like an interesting video, but never did I think that it was going to be a 12.7 million YouTube short.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
In the, like, it's brings up another good point. Like, you have no idea what's going to be the piece of content that goes absurd and goes mental and goes nuclear.
Which is infuriating.
Because I'm sure you've done other videos that have taken you 40,000 times longer to create, and they end up, you know, for lack of a better word, flopping.
Absolutely.
And you're like, what's the deal?
Nah, dude, the thing with like whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, obviously there are ways to cater to like towards that algorithm and kind of win a little bit more consistently, and you can tell when an account has kind of figured it out. I haven't. But what's so interesting is that input is not correlated to output at all. Like there are videos like you said where I've spent probably, you know, even 4 hours to edit a 10-second Instagram reel or something, just because you went super hard to perfect all the sound, all the visual effects and everything, and like, you know, re-edited it after like thinking, you know, that maybe it wasn't the best it could be. Yeah. And then that video flops, and then you make a video with your iPhone, and then you like cut to like one other cool shot from the camera, and it's like a BTS with the iPhone, and then you cut to the cool shot, and then that takes 2 seconds to edit, and then boom, it does like 10 times better than the other videos.
Does that piss you the hell off? Like, as someone who's like addicted to the craft of it and is really into the visuals and like the details of it, does it just piss you the fuck off?
I don't think it actually pisses me the fuck off, because at the end of the day, like, it's nice to know that something's getting recognized in the first place, and then that could also be a feeder to the other stuff. But it's like, from a motivational standpoint, a little bit tough to know that whether you work your absolute ass off or just kind of throw something together quickly, it could go either way. Yeah. Now, I think that if you consistently work your ass off, you'll probably just find a way to make it work, and it'll just really keep growing.
Totally. It's a patience game. It's like anything else. I want to talk about how you got into this. Like, how'd you get started? How'd you start getting into like videography and photography? Yeah. Interested, like, who got you into that, or what got you into that? And then we'll talk more about, you know, how it became something that's more commercial for you, where like you're getting booked on gigs and all that.
Well, it all starts really, I mean, if it could go as far back as like when I first got like a MacBook computer in my household. I think we had like a family shared MacBook computer that had the photo booth app, and like that photo booth app had a video component to it, and me and my best friend would make like skits in my basement and like record it on the photo booth app, and we had this video file, and then I would put it into iMovie, and like that was like my first intro into like creating and editing a video. Now, loose, right? That was a long time ago. I don't even remember how old I was. It's probably in elementary school. But what really kind of kicked things off is in middle school, I started making skateboarding videos. Like one of my best friends was skateboarding a bunch, and I like tried skateboarding and I sucked at it. Yeah. But like I already kind of like knew how to work the camera, and I was like, well, let's take some like cool videos and make like a skate edit. And at
that's dope as shit. Yeah, because the guy that's recording the skateboarder is arguably as cool. Like they look dope as hell. Like recording, and it's like the fishbowl.
Yeah, did you guys see the fish islands.
Fish Islands? Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, sorry. Keep going.
No, you're good. But yeah, so like when we were in like 6th grade, 7th grade, whatever, we were making a lot of skate videos, me and my friend Charlie and my friend Artie. And we kind of like got into filming and like understanding different lenses, and also like that's when I started using Final Cut, which I still edit all my stuff on today. But like that's the piece of video editing software that I learned when I was 12 years old. And
was Final Cut? I don't know how long Final Cut's been around.
Yeah,
was it new at that time, or was it?
It had just been completely revamped into Final Cut 10.
Got it.
Which was a controversial thing at the time, but like actually, because the previous one was like arguably a more professional suite, and they kind of like simplified it when they moved to 10 in an Apple way,
which is a good thing for you.
100%. Because I was a kid, I had no idea what I was doing.
You would have never been able to do 9. But
no shot. Like I was making hot garbage.
Yeah.
But obviously with anything, consistency helped out, and I learned how to edit.
Yeah.
And then the story continues. Once I got a car, and I've always loved cars my entire life, I was like, how do I take cool pictures and videos of cars? And then I had a group of friends, our mutual connection, for instance, our boy, our cross seller.
That's it. Yeah. Cross sell. Thank you, James.
Thank you, James. He actually, we would hang out in high school, and we would go take cool photos of like either our cars, or like we'd go to car events and stuff like that. And like, that's kind of where I really started to dive into it.
Yeah.
And all of this was me doing it as a hobby.
Right.
At this point, I really hadn't received any sort of money, and I never sought any sort of money at that point. But the first time that money got involved was a friend of mine who is also an automotive photographer. At least at the time he was really talented. His name's Francis. And he got asked to be like the inventory photographer for this local Ferrari dealership. Okay. But he was in school in Milwaukee, so he couldn't do it. And he recommended me to them, which, that's a blessing, because that was probably like 6.5 years ago. And
so how old were you?
I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn. So I was in college at that point. And he was like, hey man, like there's a Ferrari dealership and they need a photographer. Like, are you interested in that? And I was like, absolutely. This is crazy, right? That's a kid in the candy store moment for me. Cause like to be surrounded by not just, I probably would have been hyped about any car dealership wanting to bring me on for media work. Cause like, that's cool. But like one of the coolest brands in the automotive space with, very expensive and luxurious and unique cars. As a car guy, that was a really cool feeling.
So was your rate like...
Oh my God, nothing. Dude, I charged them pennies. And it's because, one, I didn't know anything. And I also was not confident enough in like myself, right? Sure. So it's like, one, I didn't know what the going rate was for photography. I still really don't, to be honest with you. And two, there was zero self-confidence. Like I was a 19-year-old college kid. I was like, you want me to take pictures of cool cars and you're going to pay me for it? So yeah, I think I charged them. I was shooting just inventory for them at the time. Like just the cars that they were putting on their website for sale, and no social media at this moment. And I charged them, I think, $20 per car, and that's shooting at it, which, to some people might sound like that's a fair rate. It's not, but I chose it. You know what I mean? And I was psyched. Right. I was like, hell yeah. Right. They said, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So that's nothing on them. That's 100% on me. But obviously, later on and you develop, more experience and maybe other clients, and you help kind of build up and realize what you should be charging.
For sure.
What do you think it should be charged at? Oh, like realistically for inventory stuff? At least at that caliber. So the thing about Ferrari dealership is interesting. It's low volume. Like you're not moving a lot of inventory month to month. So it's like, you don't have to shoot as many cars as you would at like, let's say a Honda or BMW store, but the photos have to be like pretty high quality and like take a little bit more time to shoot per car, and also editing them too. And it depends on what the client's expectations are, but the caliber is supposed to be high. I think realistically a fair rate would probably be like 100 a car, maybe 150. It depends on how much time you're spending.
Because it's the editing and all that.
Yeah, honestly, like realistically, I think if another dealership approached me today and was like, "We want you to do inventory," I would probably start by telling them like $250 a car, and then they would negotiate down. I would imagine.
Yeah. But you have that confidence now, and you've done it. I'm assuming a ton of times. Like So then after that, then it's like, okay, you have that experience.
Yeah.
Now you're leveraging that experience to get new gigs, and then maybe you're going back to that dealership, or they're referring you for someone else. Like, when was like the moment where things were starting to roll over and like more stuff was coming in? Was there like a big shoot that cemented you, or was it more like slow progress?
I think it was definitely slow progress, but what I will say is that I wasn't really chasing that, like, I guess, dream of being like a content creator or being a photographer or videographer at all. I was just looking at it as a hobby. I only did it as a hobby, and there was no like big shoot. I just kind of kept doing the car dealership stuff. And then come COVID, I got really into the FPV drones. And purely out of like interest, I was like, dude, this stuff is nuts. Like I saw another guy doing it, and he was like chasing around like drift cars and stuff, and like flying the drone around them while they were like throwing up smoke, going sideways. Like it was such a like action-packed video, and it also felt like it's an angle that you can't really get.
I was
anywhere
just gonna
else.
say that.
You
I was
don't
gonna
see
say because now you get to see cars for the first time at an angle you've never seen cars move before.
It's like, if you're watching racing I think is pretty boring to watch like a lot of the time because it's just kind of just like and then just the cars going past you. But like when the drone is like a third, it's almost like a Need for Speed look, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a third person video game style like appearance, and also like these FPV drones can go at any angle, if you will. So it's like, it could be sideways, it could be upside down, it could run 360s, do flips. So when I got captivated by that, by seeing it on like Instagram and YouTube, I went head first, learned all about it, dove in, and like bought my first one of those. And then that, after kind of honing the skills a little bit and learning how to fly it and not crash as much because they're kind of tough to fly, I started reaching out to people. I was like, hey, I'm an FPV drone pilot. I'd love to work with you. And like, this includes like video production agencies in Chicago and also just like people and like clients and whatever. And the agencies are the ones who respond well to this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, don't really fully understand or know what FPV is, and trying to sell them on that when they don't know is a little bit tough.
Oh, yeah.
But video production agencies are like, oh, we don't have someone that does that, but we can subcontract you.
Yeah.
And so now I partner with like a couple of video production agencies in the city, and they kind of just call me on an as needed basis.
Yeah.
And I love working with them. It's so fun.
Oh, it's a blast. So this is one of those things where it sounds like you were one of the first people that got like really, really expert level.
Would not say that, but I was
Wrong.
earlier in the game than a lot of people. But the other thing too is, since I was always kind of like working, or I guess I'm trying to think if I was still in college when I started FPV. I think I was. But then I started working a full-time job unrelated to media work. And I didn't have like, I guess, the full-time dedication that I did when I first got into it.
Sure.
So I was like super into it head first, spending a lot of hours a day learning about it and getting better. And then once it kind of took like just a hobby level, there were definitely a lot of other people that got into it and got really good at it.
That's so cool. So nowadays, like, what's your favorite thing to focus on? What's your favorite thing to like do? Is it still the cars? Because if you don't follow Dennis, you should. You're like shooting at races now.
Yeah.
Like so you're not. Hey, we're not doing Ferrari dealerships anymore, brother.
Yeah. Well, we're doing both. We're doing both.
Nothing against Ferrari dealership inventories.
Yeah, no, the inventory stuff is, in my opinion, I guess, like the least interesting. But the races actually come from them too. Those are Ferrari races, the ones that you've seen so far. And I love it. That's my favorite stuff. I love being at the track. It's such a cool, unique experience. And like to be able to kind of, you get a photo vest and you kind of are able to walk around and go in places where you feel like you shouldn't be allowed. Yeah. Like I was just shooting in Daytona Beach this last weekend, and the Daytona International Speedway, iconic NASCAR track.
Ever heard of it, brother?
It's pretty big.
Even
deal.
I know about it. I'm not a racing
500.
guy. Yeah, exactly.
You ever heard of the 500?
Your racing buddies are gonna hate that you're talking to me like this. Or like, this host is such a freaking casual.
Yeah, total normie.
Do you guys in the racing community or like people that are big into cars, do you just, when like everyone else who's not into it, that goes and sees the races?
Oh, dude, no, what? There's no, like, to be pretentious about that is so lame. We're such dorks. You know what I mean? To be
you guys are such
to
dorks.
be obsessed with cars,
dude.
Like, what a childish thing.
Do you think that, how do you feel about the people that say being a car guy is the equivalent of being like a horse girl?
Oh, dude, it sucks because it's like so true.
Dude, it's so true.
It's just so true, and I don't want to accept it, right? Because I love cars.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, you're just obsessed with this thing that, like, to most people is just so not.
Are there people that are? I mean, I imagine there are. But people that are like huge into cars that are not as self-aware as you and probably your crew.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And they maybe are kind of brutal.
Oh my God, the worst.
The worst.
Right? Yeah. Like, yeah. There's definitely people that I have seen or interacted with that are, I guess, in the car community, if you will, that it's kind of their whole entire personality, and that's fine, right? Like, there's everyone can live their own life and enjoy it. That's not the life I want to live, nor is it really the people I want to interact
with.
I
totally hear. All right, so the best question ever. What's your favorite car of all time?
Oh, dude, what a terrible question.
No,
can't answer
this because I'd say this to James all the
say,
time.
What would he tell you?
James would be like, oh, like he's like so nice about it, but he would be like, oh, what did he say?
Like, actually?
Yeah, you answered right.
What did he say?
Gino
like
messaged
Bugatti Chiron, probably. realistically.
Dennis, guess Bugatti. This is like a newlywed game.
Yeah.
Guess your roommate's favorite car.
Or like a Koenigsegg or something.
Yeah, but
favorite
what is it?
Okay, wait, hold up. Let me say mine first.
Okay.
I think mine, and you're gonna like, social media clear. Put like a picture of this in the clip, right? If this becomes one. The Pagani Zonda R. It's an Italian, like super kind of like rare, handmade type of unique. It's a piece of art. That's why I love it.
Yeah,
it's just super unique.
Very cool.
Very cool. What's James's? Oh, okay.
Right.
I'm not on the mic. No, that's fair.
James's favorite car is a Ferrari 812 Competizione Aperta.
Yeah, the 812 Catazone.
The 812. Yeah, it does look like Ferrari 812, but it's a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So
really cool car.
What? Oh, Gino likes the Stingray Corvettes.
Yeah.
68.
No way. It's a good year.
Cool James says 67 through 71 were the best years ever for Ferrari.
Yeah.
Stingrays.
Or for Corvettes.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Stingray Corvettes. Ferrari Stingrays.
You got good taste, brother. Yeah, Ferrari. Yeah, you're eaten alive by the car community. They're going to tear you up.
Yeah, I'm done for. Okay, very cool.
But yeah.
So what about like, because I now know the term like the daily.
Yeah. Best
car.
daily?
Yeah, best daily.
Honestly, I kind of lean towards like Mercedes generally. Like whatever is the nicest Mercedes sedan or nicest Mercedes SUV. I like their cars.
Yeah, love it, dude.
I'm
not. I just unfortunately I never got into the car game, and I'm not gonna pretend like I am in the car.
You also live in New York. Like that's a horrible place to have a car.
Yeah,
Manhattan is probably worst place on the planet to have a car.
Dude, they financially too. They put in the congestion pricing.
Oh yeah,
for cars.
Yeah,
to not,
tariffs.
GDP,
they've got that there.
They should put a tariff on podcasting equipment. You ever seen that meme? They're gonna. This clip is gonna be put in one of those montages. I bet.
Yeah.
What's the nicest best car cities?
Realistically, Los Angeles like county. If you live in California, there's so many awesome canyon roads. There's some weird legislature, and gas is really expensive. The laws there for modifying cars kind of suck. You can't really get away with it's crazy. Like they're very serious about like the emissions regulations and whatnot. So if you do anything that messes with your car, that could mess with like emissions compliance.
Yeah.
But beautiful place. And like every time that I've driven, like sometimes I'll rent like a fun car and go up to the canyons, and I don't think I've had a better driving experience than that.
That's so fun. That's
Otherwise, like Tennessee is also gorgeous. Like places with mountains and curvy roads. That's a good place to be for a car. Yeah.
And like not a lot of people around, I imagine.
Ideally,
unless you're like open road.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I always think of that scene in Cars.
Yeah.
Life is a Highway.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude.
So good.
Not to bring up James again, but he always brings up the movie Cars.
It's a good movie. Cars 2, have you seen it?
I've only seen Cars 1.
Oh my goodness. So Cars 2 is like a complete diversion from
Really?
Yeah, it's a spy thriller.
Oh,
and like people die in it. No, it's nuts.
You're making that up.
I swear on my life, dude. Like I don't know. On your flight home, download Cars 2.
I'm gonna watch
Cars
2. I'm gonna text you and be like, what the?
Yeah,
fuck?
no, it's crazy.
So what's next? What's going on? What does the future look like for you? Are you gonna try and like? I don't know if you can answer this with like real life work, but is there a world where you kind of go off and you're
100%. I think the reality of the situation is that I spend a lot of my free time. I still, I make sure that I do everything I need to at work, and then all of my free time, I do everything I need to at work.
Yeah, HR.
I spend my free time. Obviously, I still hang out with my friends and have hobbies outside of it, but I do spend a lot of time doing photo and video work, and it's because I absolutely love it. So if I could find a way where I'm still doing the projects that I love and having these kinds of new experiences that keep me motivated and energized, really. I'll have shoots where I have to wake up at 6, but because I'm so eager for it, I wake up feeling amped.
Dude, that's
awesome. And chasing that feeling is what I want to be doing right now. So it's if I can find a way to make that the full-time gig, then that's really that's the goal. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And are you mostly eager because it is kind of like something that you're comfortable doing, you have confidence, and you're like, I know I'm going to do well, I'm just excited to be there? Or does it excite you to have a new challenge? Like back in the day when you were like, I'm going to the Ferrari inventory shoot, and I don't really know what I'm doing, but you're probably excited about it.
100%.
Does that also energize
Yeah, no,
you?
that's like the bigger thing. It's like new challenges and stuff. Like a known quantity gets boring, right? Yeah. Like anything in life, honestly, like if you do something long enough, it becomes a little bit stale, even the coolest stuff. And honestly, it's kind of even how it was with Ferrari. The first like couple years, I was like, this is so cool. I've been, partnering with them, I guess we'll say, for 6.5 years. And like, don't get me wrong, still think they're really cool cars, but like when I'm shooting inventory nowadays, like, I'm a little bit desensitized. I'm hopping in these cars that are worth $500,000 or like sometimes even $3 million, depending on what, model it is. And I don't think twice about it. Yeah. And I used to like spend like a solid 15 minutes just like soaking it in because I was like, holy shit, I'm in a Ferrari Enzo. And it's still very cool to me, and especially like, the specialty cars like an Enzo, for instance. I love it, but chasing that new challenge and chasing that feeling of newness and kind of being a little bit naive, dude, that's the most fun thing in life. Let's be real. Like,
100%. Yeah. And like it's all about perspective. And of course you have the mindset of like, you still appreciate all those experiences and it's still really cool. But at the end of the day, like your experience and your perspective is your experience and your perspective. So for you become desensitized to it. And it's like, what's the next big thing? So I totally get it, man. I'm excited to continue to follow along. How can people reach out to you? How can people get in touch?
Yeah. I am on the Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Obviously, I think Instagram is kind of like the place to reach out to people. I don't know. Follow me on Instagram at Nisflix.
At Nisflix.
Yeah, if you want to send me what's the
message?
What's the
DM?
Morse code? A telegraph? Is that what it is? Yeah, you can do that too.
Telegraphs work, or just reach out to me and I'll
honestly, send an email to jack@breakingandentering.gov and we'll just make it happen.
I love it. Dennis, thanks so much for the time, brother. Thanks for having us at your home, by the way.
Yeah.
And
the studio.
If we ever have a question about cars or anything, we'll be reaching out to you first, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks, bro.
Good chat.